All right.
Okay, so looks like we are live, and it also looks like the comments are not being allowed here in the stream. So in that case, I'm just going to pull up our conversation on my phone. And for anyone that's joining us, if they comment with questions for us, I will see it there.
Okay, good.
That's the plan, anyway. And once I've got that going, I will introduce our guest and we can get started. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to mute myself. Okay, perfect. We are ready. So welcome everybody to our Q&A with an expert series. Today for April, I thought it would be an awesome time to bring our friend and resident book publisher extraordinaire, Elizabeth Hill, to join us for a conversation about how courses and books can go hand in hand and really support each other, how we can leverage one to do the other, and how we can bundle them together and sell them as a bundle. So there's so many creative, fun things that we can do when we have a book and a course and either or. So this conversation is for all of the folks out there who have a book already in the works, already published, or who are thinking about it, or who have a course in the works or published, or are thinking about it. And really, wherever you enter into this conversation, you're going to get something out of it. And so with that, I wanted to share it for those of you that don't know Elizabeth. She is an independent publisher. Her company is called Greenheart Living Press, and she works with authors. What genres specifically, Elizabeth, do you specialize in?
Yeah, so most of our books are nonfiction books. So they're personal development, inspirational, memoir, as well as some entrepreneurship books as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you work with authors from kind of ideation to post-publishing, but you really specialize in the process once you've got a finished manuscript to get that to bestseller status. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So whether you have the idea at the, a spark of an idea, we can take you through the entire process of getting that book to print and getting bestseller status. We have a number of people that come to us when the book is done, actually written, that want that publishing support. We've also had people come to us when they've self-published the book, but the book didn't get the traction that they wanted it to get. And then we can support them with a relaunch and getting that bestseller status that elevates it so they get seen and they start seeing book sales flowing. So we can help with all of it. And getting that book to print is just so exciting to me. And getting the bestseller status, it's so fun to do. So
yeah. Well, speaking of which, one of the ways that I know Elizabeth is through the publication of, let's see, this beautiful collaborative book, Be the Beacon. Yes. She's got a copy behind her too.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and so Elizabeth and I have known each other for a couple of years now. We met for a coffee chat way back when, before COVID.
Yes.
And just immediately we're like, I don't know how, but we need to stay in touch and do something together. Yes. And since then, Elizabeth was one of my first clients working on her course, which is how to self-publish your memoir on Amazon. So if that's something you want, let us know. We've got the hookup for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Elizabeth became my publisher. So it's a multifaceted relationship.
Yes. And I love that you talking about that because, when we met, I was like, oh, I don't know what it is, but we've got to keep doing stuff together. We have to create something, but I don't know what it is. And I think that for those of us that are, in this entrepreneur life that we're doing, if you follow those instincts, you might actually not know where it leads to. But if you sense that, oh, I feel really comfortable with this person, I'm excited to see them. If you feel that, it's going to lead to really cool things. So it's fun that you mentioned that as well.
Yeah. Great point. So let's talk about books and courses, a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
The other title that we had for this conversation that was rejected, but also so fun, was courses colon the book multiplier. And
Mm.
so I love just like your kind of introductory thoughts about like the connection between books and courses, and in your experience, what's possible when you have a book and a course.
Oh my goodness. So there's infinite possibilities with this. So I was so excited to talk with you about it because it's from a book perspective. If somebody has an online course already done, it is so easy to take that course and translate it into a published book, right? Because you already have the content, you already have the ideas. It's really just taking that to the printed page or an ebook form. And so that might feel overwhelming for someone else, but for us, it's like, oh, if there's videos, we can literally transcribe those videos for you so that you get it on the page. And then it's just little tweaks. And it probably with the online course, I know one thing that you're so great at doing is making these images or graphics that go along with the course. So you probably
Mhm.
already have those. And sometimes those are the thing that's tricky to do for the books if people want them. But if you already have them, it's like, oh, just slide those into the book. And it's such, it can be um, a really great way to do things. But the other way too, it's like it works totally the opposite. If you have a book, you already have the content, especially if it's in a personal development type thing. Chances are you have sections in there where it's okay, here's how you make it relatable to your life. Here's how you implement this, right? So
Mhm.
that can be something that could be easily moved over to an online course or a course, right? And the thing that as an entrepreneur, I always want to look to do is doing this multiplier thing, right? So how do we take the idea, the content, the things that we've created and have it work multiple ways rather than,
Mhm.
having to recreate the thing
Yeah.
um, over and over again. That can get really, that's how I did things when I started my business. It was just like, let me spaghetti on the wall. Let me create 50 million things different every single time. I follow an
Mhm.
idea. And then once the things started to, it's like, oh no, if I focus and do this one thing,
Mhm.
right, get really good at this one thing. And then, so if you have a course or you have a book, if you can use that same content, it's landing with people, it's resonating with people. You
Yeah.
can easily use. So those are my initial thoughts with this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny you say that about like repurposing content, because I just was getting coached earlier this week on a new lead magnet I had put together. And, it was a guide, maybe like an 8-page guide. And the woman that was coaching me was like, okay, now don't forget that every one of these 8 methods that's included in this guide, you can use as the seed for a social post or an email to your list. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's
Right.
amazing. Yeah. So just reminding ourselves that we don't have to recreate the wheel. Um, and also, when you were talking, it made me think of like my process working with clients to create their course. I'm guessing it's similar to your process, but let me know if I'm wrong.
Okay.
So in our initial conversations, you probably remember this from working together. We talk about who is it for, who's the audience for this course, and then what is the problem that they're experiencing, or the thing that your course is gonna help them with, and then how are we going to deliver the information so that we get that result for them. Is that
Mm-hmm.
how you develop a book too, Liz?
Well, it is definitely, those are definite elements. And I think I also tend to start with, and this is unique because this is but I think it would apply for online courses too, is okay, what is the transformation that someone's been through? What is the
Mhm.
big thing that they've already went through themselves? So they have this credibility that
Mm.
they can talk from that expert place about going through that transition or that change or that challenge or that opportunity. And I also want to make sure it's something that like really lights them up and they're excited to talk about. Because there is, if you're not excited about the thing and it doesn't feel, it might be scary to talk about it. That's a whole other thing. That's like getting over the nerves and, you know, getting over some, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but you want to have them be excited about the topic too, because you're going to need to promote and market and talk about it in different settings. So you want that, but all the other things are true, right? Like we need to, in order to get the bestseller status, there's 3, you know, things we have to do. And the first one is you got to write a book that people are going to download and want to read. You had like the title has to be interesting to people. It has to land with somebody. It can be a really small subset of the population. It can be a really specific topic. It doesn't need to be attractive to everyone, but it has to be like answering some kind of need that somebody is having, right? I know me personally, that's whenever I have a problem or a thing that, you know, is a challenge, what do I do first? I turn to a book. I Google on Amazon and I go, okay, does this exist? Has somebody gone through this? Can I read a book to like tiptoe into figuring this situation out that feels beyond me? Right.
Yeah.
So,
and
people do that.
That's such a great point too, because for a lot of people, that is their go-to. They're looking for a book. But for a lot of other people, their go-to is to look for a course.
Exactly.
And when you have both that you can offer to your people to help with their problem or help them through what they're going through, you're reaching, you're expanding who you're going to attract, right?
Exactly. Yes, because it's so, you know, some people are, okay, they want the printed page, right? I'm one of those people. I want the printed page. But then there's certain things that, so the printed page might be a first step for people too. And then they might realize, you know what, this isn't, I need more than this to get me to implement the things. This is especially true with, it could be self-care topics, right? Like learning meditation. You'd want a course that goes along with that and like will guide you through the process, or something like a business, you know, a business book that is, okay, I'm going to set up a business, or I've gotten to this stage and I want to increase my income. Like a book like that might have some implementation things that are just hard to do without some kind of structure. So having an online course that actually like guides you through that specific structure, especially, you know, especially if there's like built-in like rewards and like the other things that I know that you can weave into it, it helps people move through the process and like get the learning to stick. So it's so nice to have both of those options
like
for your business.
Just thinking about your course, for example, it was so important to have it as a course because you could have written a book that was like, this is the self-publishing process. These are the steps. This is what to think about, right? And that would get people started. But to actually like have a video that walks them through, you know, Kindle Direct Publishing website and where to click and gives them a template that they can use to format their book, or, you know, shows them how to use Canva to design their book cover, right? You can't do that as easily or maybe at all, in the written page. So,
there's a reason I didn't make a book about it. My brain goes like, oh, even when I think about making that book, it's like, oh. There's just some things that are, you want a person to guide you through the steps and show you actually how to do them so that you can actually go through it with, you know, and if during the process, and, you know, it would be lovely to have a coach, to have someone go through it with you. And that's not accessible financially for everybody. And so a course is a wonderful way to help people get that same feeling. You're getting the support, you're getting the information. So you're, as a person that creates a course, you're reaching a broader number of people and able to help a broader number of people with the information you know and you've learned. So it's nice to be able to spread it out and reach people that way too.
Yeah. And then thinking about, you know, for folks whose topic does lend itself to having a book as well, that's an even lower price point oftentimes, where people can access starting to think about whatever the topic is before they invest in something like a course that provides more support, or like a program that has videos plus live coaching, right?
Right.
So it's a whole kind of, I don't know, staircase of support.
Yeah, it's great. And it's, as we talk about, I like the analogy of staircase. And I do like the pipeline analogy, right? That you're able to draw people in that, I'll spend, $18 to see if I can, connect with this person. Right. Or I'll, and then once they get that feeling of that like, know, and trust factor, or love, know, and trust factor. Cause I know people read my books or read my author's books and they go, oh, they feel like they know us because they know
Right.
a lot of our stories. Like some of our things are pretty intimate. So they really do know us. And then they are more likely to go, okay, now I'll go invest in this course that this person did, or, oh, now I'll reach out to join this person's group, or this, one-on-one coaching program, or whatever the offer is, because they already feel like they know you and will trust you and want your energy in their life in some way. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have these like steps for folks as they trust you and realize what they need, because sometimes people don't realize this level of support or what they need exactly once they're starting a process.
Yeah, totally. I mean, books, in my opinion, are great at like educating people about the problem, the process, like raising awareness about what it is that they might need. And then, a course is a great way to give them the solution to what it is that you've outlined in the book, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you see any reason, or I guess any reason to do a book first versus a course first? Is there a way to do it wrong? What's the right way, Liz?
I think we were talking about this before. There's literally, I don't think one way is right or better or either. Like, I don't think there's a way to do that wrong. I think it's just what you have, right? So if you already have an online course, I'm like, ooh, let me get my hands on it because we can totally make it a book. And if you have a book, I feel like taking a book into a course it depends on the genre, right? So if your book is okay, here's exactly what you to do, right? It has a lot of exercises in there. It has a lot of, tools to use. That's a much easier transition to get it into a course. If your book is more, I do have a fair number of authors that we publish that are more like sharing our stories, and which I love publishing, like memoir and inspirational books. Those you might have to develop some content before they go into a course, right? Like there might not be, but certain books would lend themselves like very easily to that transition. It just depends on what the genre is and what type of content you have in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking also if you had an online course, actually it's the same both ways, I'm realizing, of course. So with the online course, you might also have to put in some information that's not in the course itself, that's more personal in nature, or your stories, because not everybody puts that into a course. It might not. But in a book, I always encourage people to say, okay, what's the background? Why are you doing this? Right? Like, why is this important to you? Why should anyone listen to you? And sometimes that would be in a course. Is it? I mean, sometimes it is.
Yeah. Every course that I work with clients to create has a lesson in like the first module that's like, meet your instructor, or like, who is Elizabeth?
Right.
Because people do want to know, maybe not the full story that you would share in a book, but like, why did you create this thing? How did you get to this point? Like, what is your background, and why are you passionate about this topic? And that helps the learner, the audience, connect with you, trust you, be like, oh, okay, she has X experience, which qualifies her to teach me the things she's about to teach me.
Yes.
So, mhm.
Yeah. So going that way where it flows, I think it flows really well.
Yeah.
Either way.
So, okay, you can't do it wrong, basically.
No. And if you did, and if you had this idea and you were like, you know what, I teach this all the time, or, what are the conversations I have with people? What do I do with my one-on-one clients? Right. And you want to do them both at the same time. Like we could roll out both at the same time, right? Like we could do a course and a book, same trajectory. So you actually can, because what's wonderful in a book is to be able to have this offering at the end, like, because you can put in any offer you want in the back, right?
Yeah.
So once people get to the end of the book, they're going to be like, oh, I want more of this. This was so helpful. I want more of this. And if you have an online course in the back ready to go, it's like, oh, you have a built-in next step for the reader becoming your client, right? So
it almost reminds me of like in the olden days when you'd get a book with like a CD-ROM in the back.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Suzanne McCall who has joined us. Welcome, Suzanne. And she's got a question for us. She says, as a publisher, what would you do with someone who wants to make their course a book? And what would the process look like?
Yes. So, because there could be multiple ways of doing it. And it depends how much time someone has and how much time that they want to put into it. Right. So, if someone wants to do a lot of the process themselves, what they do is they just go through their course and take the written things that are in the course, put it into like a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word, and just lay it out in the order that is in the course, right? So actually lay that all out.
You mentioned earlier transcribing. So like, if they have their videos, they could run it through a transcription software like otter.ai. And that will plop out the transcript that they can use.
And Otter AI is great because it really does a good job. I'm sure there are other good programs too, but that's the one I use. So yeah, because if you have videos in the online course, you could pop them into the Otter and then run it, or whatever transcription software, run it, and then just put it into that flow. And then you as the author can go through, and if there's parts that they want to add, they could add those parts. If there's things that, this worked in the online course, but I don't really want it in the book for some reason, you could just take out those parts. And then the other option is, if you don't want to do all of that work, Greenheart, we do have a team where we could actually do all of this for you, get it to a place of, okay, here's all the material from the course. And then we'd share it with you, and then you can decide what the next steps are. If you want us to kind of guide, we do coaching as well to guide people through the writing and adapting. And we also do editing and formatting. So we could have a conversation with the author and be like, okay, what do you want us to do and change? So it runs the gamut of, you could do this a lot on your own and then come to us when you're ready to publish it. And then you could self-publish it using one of our courses, using our online course. Or if you just don't want to do a lot of it, if you don't have a lot of time, but you want to have this product for, then we can take a lot of that heavy lifting off of people's hands, so that they get to a finished product earlier. They get that published book sooner. It all depends what people want.
Yeah. So I want to dive into some examples now of folks that we know of who have done the course book combo situation.
Yes.
Who are you wanting to talk about?
I have a couple examples. Yes. So actually, one is me. Actually, I have three examples. One is me because I didn't even realize this, but this is my very first book. This is me when I had short hair. And this is Green Your Heart, Green Your World, Avoid Burnout, Save the World, and Love Your Life. And what I did from this was actually all things that I taught. And some of it was video courses that I had done, like leading people through meditations, and all of that. So I took and some of it was in-person classes I taught. I took those, put them in as tools after each chapter, and then I wrote a chapter like talking about it in general, right? And sharing a little bit of my story. So that's one example. Intrapreneur by Jen Jones. So she had an online course to start off with. She had a course. Actually, I can't remember if it was online or if she led it through live. It might have had both components. But she took a lot of the content and then it became this. During the course of it, there were, she did change different things. She actually discovered new like tools to work with people and added that in during it. And then afterwards, she has a book study group. So she has an ongoing course afterward. So it was like a boomerang. It both helped her write the book and then also launched another whole thing.
Okay, so that's a really interesting idea, is to have a book study with your book. So now you're getting FaceTime with people. They're seeing you as an expert because you're published in a book, and you can funnel them into your course if that feels appropriate. Now, do you know if Jen is charging for that book study?
Yes, she charges for the book study, but it's a very reasonable amount. And she's actually starting it next week. And even though I'm going to be in the book study, even though I helped her publish the book, because so I know this book in and out, but I know that I'm an introvert. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to hang out with people that are too. Like it would just make me feel nice to be around people that are in that same situation. So it's such a neat model. The book study, I've also had people use, some people have used book study as they're building the book too, to actually help them develop the content of the book. If you're, that's a whole other thing that people do as well. So it's kind of neat.
Well, the other thing I was thinking about was that you could use a book study as even like a free offer to get people, to know you more and kind of nurture that relationship with them before you sell them into a higher ticket program or something like that.
Oh, yes. I think that's a great idea too. That's a wonderful.
Or it could be a part of a membership program and offering within that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many different ways that could work well. Yeah.
All right. So we've got example 3.
Example 3. So this one, I actually it's somewhere in this house, but I have this, but it's the proof. So this is what a proof looks like, just so everyone can see. But I do have the actual book, but this gives you an idea. It's The Right Recovery by Robin H. Clare. So this book is a journal, actually, a workbook. There's lots to fill out, but it is a course, right? So it's a course that she actually goes in and teaches for organizations, right? So she meets with clients that way. And it could easily be something that is an online course that people are led through, right? So this is something that she developed based on her work teaching the class. Then again, she's using this as she's going through these different things. There's places for people to write. And so that's something that she's doing with she has a number of different writing courses that she teaches. And she's going to start actually having a formal journal book that goes along with each course, which feels really nice. It's like some people just buy the book and some people will do the course, and some will do both. So it's perfect.
Yeah. So that's bringing in like the idea of a workbook kind of element. So there's like the narrative book, but then there's also a workbook, and then there's the course. So
I know.
I'm wondering, I don't think I do. Okay. So here's my example. My first client ever as a course creator was Mike Jaffe. This is his memoir, Wake Up, Your Life is Calling. And he shares his story of his wake up call moment which is so compelling. He was living in Southern Connecticut with his wife and like 2 young kids and working in Manhattan every day and like taking the commuter train in every morning. And he had like a moment of, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm missing my kids every morning. I leave before they even get up. I don't have breakfast with my family. And like, this isn't how I want to live. And he was like, you know what, tomorrow I'll take the later train and have breakfast with my family. And he woke up that morning and he almost didn't do it because he was like, oh, I'll walk in late. People might judge me. And he did. He had breakfast with his family, took the later train. That was September 11th. And he worked in one of the towers.
Oh my goodness.
No, I know. Yeah. So heck of a wake up call. I just got chills saying that.
Me too. All over. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So his book walks you through that story, but also his process for really like taking control of your life and creating a life that really is what you desire. So we took this book and pulled out the activities, which were, these little kind of blurbs on a page. And we built a course around it that was a companion to the book so that if people wanted more support actually doing the activities, they now had videos, they now had a gamified system where they could earn points for doing the activities. And it went along with the books, which he would sell at his talks. He was a speaker. And so he would sell the books, and now he's got the course to go along with it. So just another example.
Yeah. And it occurs to me. So one thing that happens when you have the book, it's much easier to land speaking gigs because you have this book, right? And people go, oh, they're an expert in this, right? And another thing you want something to lead people to when you're when you're talking, right? Not everybody will be leaping into one-on-one, whatever your higher ticket item, whatever that might be. But a course is like, oh, it's like maybe the next step to flow to. So it really, if speaking engagements is something that I know a number of people are really interested in growing their business through that, you want to be able to like land them and then, okay, what's the point of having the speaking engagement? You want to have it like lead to something after. So
yeah. So we've talked through some examples. We've talked through some of the ways that people have monetized these things. And let's see, another way that I've seen is my coach, Susan Trumpler. Her business is Unstoppable Women in Business. She has a group coaching program, and she wrote a book called Oh Shit, I'm in Sales.
I didn't realize that, right? It's a thing.
And now she sends that book as a welcome gift to new members that join her community.
Love that. Yes.
Yeah. So, and then, she uses the content that's in the book to coach throughout the program and refer back to. So just one more way that you can use everything together.
Oh, yes. It's so wonderful.
Okay. Just also thinking about like from a marketing standpoint, how have you seen your authors, kind of use one or the other, a book or a course, to like raise visibility for the other thing? Have you seen that done?
Maybe as I start talking, I'll think of it as an example exactly. But I know that, having the books is definitely a way of getting visible, because there's, and this could go either way for online course or a book, because the people that I know, the authors I know that sell their books regularly, right, are intentionally doing regular marketing that feels aligned for them, right? So, and with a book or a course, it's so easy. You take your picture, you do a quote from the book or the course, right? And you just make a few of those and you put them out regularly. And that keeps it visible. It keeps people and those are the ones that I see the book sales like consistent, right? Other ones, after you do an event, you might get a bunch of book sales, right? But then it kind of will just kind of peter out if you're not doing that continued momentum. And I'm sure that you have the same situation with the course. Like if people aren't promoting it intentionally, like putting it out there, they might not see the sales. But if they're like continuing to, okay, promote it, reminding people, because people need a lot of reminders. Before I need a lot of reminders. When I think about it, I'm like, okay, it took me like how many times did I see this post or connect with this problem? Maybe 20 times before I actually bought a thing.
Yeah.
But it was in the back of my mind that I was interested in it, but it took me seeing it again and again to build trust or be ready for the thing.
Yeah. And sometimes it's also just like, I don't have my wallet near me, and, or like I saw it in passing and I need another reminder.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I think as entrepreneurs, we can feel like, oh, I don't want to bug people or feel like I'm being pushy, right? But it's actually a service to be reminding people and showing up consistently.
It is a service, because I know from both sides of that, as the client purchasing something, that when often my life is just so busy that I'm trying to juggle. And when the person reaches out and reminds me, oh, did you want to do this thing? And I go, oh, thank you so much for reaching out to me. Because yes, I do. But, it wasn't that I was like trying to avoid someone. I just didn't have the capacity. And from the other side too, I think that too. I'm like, oh, should I reach out to the person and follow up? Like, are they going to be annoyed with me or whatever? And like 9 times out of 10, the person's like, yes, and thank you. And I've done this so far. And it's like honoring what they have to give to the world. It's honoring their gift to reach out and remember them, not when they say no and leave me alone, but when they like, don't be a stalker, but reach out, remember the person, people like that. It makes them feel good.
Oh, yes. I'm just being reminded of all the phone calls I've fielded of, we're calling about your car's extended warranty.
Yeah, not that. We're not promoting that. And also I'm not promoting, like in LinkedIn, I get these things that people cold reaching out to me about stuff that they have, just offering me things right off the bat. So that's not what we're talking about. But like when you connect with a person, follow up and see if now's the time, or maybe they had a different idea that they want to explore, like build that relationship with them, and follow up. It feels good. And I love seeing my friends when they're posting things about what they have to offer. Like, it's fun to see what people are creating in their businesses.
Yeah. And, this is another example. I'm working with a client on a course, and she's just published a book that is on an adjacent topic to the course. So she's just published a book of erotica. And the course is not about how to write erotica. It's about how to get back in touch with your desire, right? So, but they go hand in hand. And so as she's publicizing and promoting this book, it's raising her visibility so that when the course is ready, people will be like, oh, right, I remember her. She's the erotica lady. Oh, she's got this course. Cool. Yeah, let me take that. So
they don't have to be the exact same thing, which is a good point, right? They don't have to be duplicates, but they can be related, and one will help promote the other, right? It's all building that trust and that building of, oh yeah, this is the person to go to about this because they've done this other thing. Yeah, smart.
Well, I think we've covered a lot. Is there anything else that you feel like we missed on this topic?
I can't think of anything. I think, well, here's what I would say is it can be super easy. We tend to make things very difficult. I do this myself and try to complicate things and make things. Our online course or our book could actually like not be a lot of work to put out into the world. It could like just kind of be an easy-ish thing. And so if anyone's listening to this and they have like, oh, this would be a really cool idea, but it would be a lot of work and I don't have time for it, like, consider the possibility that this just like isn't that much work on your end and could just explode your client list, like really bring you in income. And both of these, right, both the course and books are like passive income, right? Like they can be set up so that you literally don't have to do anything else if you don't want to. So once you get them, and they're not going away, right? They're a really nice way to keep doing your work, but have it come from a less work
I love that
standpoint.
That's such a good point. And just thinking about like my process for working with clients on a course, if you've already got a book created that we can leverage, then, we're cutting out the process of, or at least we're cutting down the time it takes to design the curriculum because you've already got the flow. We're also not having to write your talking points and your scripts because you've already outlined your thinking on most of the points in the book, right? So a lot of that work is already done. And then it's just recording your videos, getting your workbook put together, which is, like the lightest lift. And then my team uploads everything for you. So yeah, doesn't have to be hard.
Right. And a lot of the things that people will want to be putting out, you want it to be the same as what you are talking about all the time. Like you actually want it to be the speech you would give or the class that you would teach in a live setting, right? A lot of people already have this. It just flows out of them. Like when we've done videos on certain things, I'm like, oh, I'll just record it. I won't even write it out before. I'll just like, oh, here are 4 bullet points. Let me just talk about that for a while. Because I'm used to having that, going through it with people. So it just rolls out. So people might have that experience too. It's like, oh, the course doesn't have to be novel or different, or no, it can be exactly what you are asked about every day. The book too. Let it be what you know. Let it be what people come to you for. And it doesn't take away from them hiring you. It actually adds. Some people are like afraid to put stuff in a book. Maybe they might have this with the course too, because they're afraid that like, oh, if I give them all that, they won't hire me for that. It's not true. They will. If you put it out there, they're like, oh, okay. But they might need help implementing it, or they might there might be something, they just want to connect with you more to make it solid for them.
Absolutely.
So.
Such a good point. So for all of our listeners, Suzanne says, you make it easy, Jess. Thank you, Suzanne. I remember Suzanne, when I was working with her on her course about overcoming your limiting beliefs. She said, like, the best compliment I could ever have asked for, which is that I made creating a course feel like self-care. Like, yeah, beautiful. I love her. So anyway, what was I going to say to wrap us up? Oh, for anyone who was listening and is like, I do have a book that I am trying to self-publish on Amazon. I would love us to give the link for your course. Elizabeth, is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. Let's put up that link.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that in the chat here, but I'll say it out loud too. It is Greenheart Living. Well, let me not be wrong about it.
I know I would be wrong about it, so I'm glad you have it there.
No, it is greenheartliving.thinkific.com. So you can check out Liz's course there. Do you have any other offers, freebies, anything you want to share with the audience?
Yeah. So if you are interested in publishing with us or just having a conversation about what it could look like, there is, if you go to greenheartliving.com, my website, right on the top right side, it says apply to publish with us. And it's just a list of like 5 or 6 questions where you can talk about where you are in the publishing process or the writing process, say, what things you're looking for support around. And it could be anywhere from you have written the complete book, or you have a course and want to turn it into a book, or it could be you just have an idea and don't know what steps to take next. And both me and Robin Claire, who's part of our team, we split up those calls and do calls with people to talk with them about what might be the best path for them to make their book a reality. So that's what I'd share with folks.
Awesome. Well, I so appreciate you joining me today, and it's fun as always.
Yes.
And for anybody who was watching this and knows anyone that could benefit from this content, please feel free to share the link. This will be on the Alchemy Learning Solutions Facebook page under videos, so you can always refer back to it as well. All right, that's what we've got for you today. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Jess. Great to talk with you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.